Yeah, Matt will have all of that. Now, children with mental health issues are being wrongly labelled as truants. This is according to parents and charities.
Thousands of families are facing fines or prosecution for the absences. Parents say the real reason for missing school, such as anxiety or depression, are not being taken into account. 20 families now considering taking legal action against the government.
Fran Morgan is from Square Peg, which is a group which helps children who are refusing to go to school. With us in the studio is Colette Reid with us. Colette, good morning to you. Good morning. I'm going to start with you because you've got direct experience of this, because what some people might hear, some kids all at one point don't want to go to school, but this is more than that. There is now a phrase, isn't there, refusing school?
Yes, certainly.
And what's your experience?
My experience, my son's 14 now, started school refusing the second half term into high school. He does have a diagnosis of ADHD and autism, and it was just a nightmare.
What happened when he... So what would happen is he would refuse to go to school?
Yes.
Because he just couldn't face it?
Yes.
You would struggle with him to get him to go to school, and then?
And then he was, I mean, he became very challenging at home. He was attacking me. He was destroying things in the house. Just because his anxieties were so high, we were having school around all the time.
So they were in touch with you at least to find out what was going wrong?
Yes.
But not in a supportive way?
Not in a supportive way at all, no. It was all put down to me not being able to force him to go into school. They just said, he has to go into school.
And you can be fined for this?
I was fined. And I was taken to court, yes.
And what happened?
When I went to court, I defended myself. I put the story across of what we've been through and how my son is. And I was actually given an absolute discharge. So I was found guilty, but I was let off, no record, no costs and no fine.
Just to be clear, you were found guilty of?
Lack of providing my son with education.
So, Fran, pick up on that, because when you hear the story, recounted like that, we understand there are quite a few people caught up in this sort of sequence of events.
Yes, absolutely. And it's school refusal is the term that's most commonly known, but it implies willful choice. And these children, it's not about won't. They want to be in school, but they can't. It's triggered by excessive anxiety, but the underlying problem could be any number of things. It could be undiagnosed SEND, unsupported SEND, it could be bullying, it could be trauma, any number of things.
Where does the problem lie, do you think, in terms of making sure the schools or the authorities can determine what is a genuine situation or something else?
It is very difficult because the attendance policies are non-statutory. It's up to individual schools to decide whether they think an illness is genuine. There's still a lot of people who believe anxiety is just something you have to push through anyway. But anxiety that affects your day-to-day living, which is just as applicable to children as it is to adults, is a mental health condition. And there is a perfect storm in education. So schools try to refer to CAMS, there are long wait lists, there are high thresholds. The SEND system isn't working properly, as we know. School budget cuts mean that a lot of support staff who would help vulnerable children have been cut. There's more pressure on academic curriculum and academic testing. All of these things become a perfect storm where a lot of children simply can't cope.
So, Fran,
and if you force attendance...
Sorry, Fran, sorry for interrupting. I thought you'd finished your point. I just wanted to go on to the legal action. How does this become now a legal issue with the government? What are you hoping to achieve?
So we have asked for a meeting, and what we're asking for is to review the attendance policy, but also to review the legal registration codes that schools have to use to record an absence. And there are 23 of those. But a lot of children who are struggling with school attendance will be recorded as other, unauthorised, sometimes other authorised, sometimes not known. So although in education, we collect a lot of data and there's a lot of analysis. We have no idea of the scale of this problem. And there's no way of working out...
Yeah, if I just wanted to come back to Colette for a second here. In your situation, you went through the legal process.
Yes.
And there's a lot of labelling goes on there. You're presumably labelled as a bad mother.
Yes.
Your son is labelled as a
Truant. Yes.
What has been the impact of all that?
I mean, he was put on a child protection plan through neglect, that I was neglecting him having an education. Myself, I'm a qualified social worker, so the impact on that is quite serious. The impact on me is I've not been able to work for 3 years. I'm in arrears on my mortgage. You know, my life has just...
Can I
homeschooling him now?
Yes, but he's just started at a 3 days a week on a 14 to 16-year-old provision in a college, so he's doing okay now.
Do you feel like you're on a better path now?
We are definitely. He's going out of the house. He's happy. He's really enjoying what he's doing now. The past 2 years have been absolutely horrendous, but we are definitely over the other side now.
Colette, thank you for sharing your story. Fran Morgan as well, thank you for your time.
It is 17 minutes past